Hi, my name is Brandon Job. I'm a junior in the sport leadership major from UMass Boston. Here I have with me today Surgeon Ashley Donis. He's a Marines recruiter from Framingham. Nice to meet you.
Hey, nice to meet you, man.
And Ashley, before we begin, let's give kind of like a background of like what you do and how'd you got into the Marines.
Yeah, absolutely, man. So I first got into the Marines back in 2020 during COVID. A recruiter reached out to me and I answered the call. And from there, it was all go. I had enlisted and sworn in August, and by November, I was on my way on Parris Island as a recruit.
Okay.
I graduated from recruit training in Parris Island in 2021, March. Went on to follow on training, and when my first contract was done after the first 4 years, I re-enlisted and came back out here to do the very same thing that the recruiter before me did, which is to find the young men and women in today's world that want to serve in high calling.
Okay. Now, when it comes to you being in the Marines, was that the first thing that you want to do, like coming out of high school, or did you maybe have something else, but instead you segued into going to the Marines?
So initially, I was working as a project assistant coordinator at this adult healthcare agency. It was a good job. I had worked my way through college, paid for my associate's degree at Quincy College, and I didn't want to continue to pay for college because it was truly tough. Mm-hmm. So one of the things that really drew me in to the Marines and military service, outside of self-sacrificing and serving the country, mm-hmm. was the fact that I was able to continue to go to school while having it being paid for me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, after joining the Marines, in that first couple days or whatever, because I know obviously not even just Marines, but military force, whatever it is, it's always kind of hard, and you always have that second guess, should I have stayed back home?
Yeah.
Was that ever a little thought, or were you no, I want to do this, and also like you said, still be in school at the same time?
Oh yeah, definitely. Throughout my time in the Marine Corps, there have definitely been some downs, right? Along with the ups, okay. Where I've thought, okay, really, wow, this is really difficult, especially throughout the initial training process. It's something that I've never done before at this level of difficulty. And what had got me through was remembering my why, which is, doing for family, doing it for myself, and doing it for country.
Yeah. Now, when it comes to that also as well, obviously now when it comes to forces, military forces, they always have the physical check, and you have to be work out, all that type of stuff. Were you because obviously we met at the Y, were you that built as well, or did you have to kind of?
Oh, absolutely not. When I first enlisted, my recruiter first talked to me, I was still 6'2", right? But I weighed 145 pounds soaking wet. So I was literally a twig.
Okay.
I couldn't do more than 3 pull-ups.
Wow.
I could have ran. I ran really well because I was,
Did you do track in high school?
I did not. I wish I did though.
Okay.
I just really loved running at the time.
Okay. Do you do any sports though? Not to cut you off. Did you do any sports in high school?
So I did try out for the basketball team once.
Okay.
I got cut, unfortunately. It wasn't like a MJ story where he, eventually went on to play varsity.
So
college.
wasn't no sports.
No.
Okay.
No.
But you did kind of stay active. What you said though.
Yeah,
okay.
I always stayed active. And so. When I first, took the call, I was not physically built as I am today.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now I know because I would see some friends as well join the Army. Mm-hmm. I don't want to say they help you with it, but there's ways for for you to get in shape as you go on. So was that also at least beneficial for you?
Oh, yeah.
Them helping you, not in a aggressive manner, you gotta, but at least trying to get you on path to be a certain type of body mass, whatever. Because now you're going to be obviously in the military force. So.
Yeah, absolutely. So the Marine Corps definitely gives you a good foundation because they have standards across the board for everyone on what physical fitness should look like for each member in the Marine Corps. So I got a really good foundation of where I should be, and then from there it really is dependent on the individual themselves to make sure that they are aware of where they need to work on, what they need to work on. And then from there, correcting those deficits.
Okay. Yeah. Now let's backtrack just a little bit. So when joining the Marines now, how did your family take on to that? Because obviously, when we I feel for me, whenever someone says I'm going to join the Army, there's always that sad sorrow, no, you should stay. That how did your family take that on?
Yeah, absolutely. So I was 25 when I enlisted.
Okay.
And my mom in particular, so I'm of Haitian descent.
Mm-hmm.
My mom in particular was very against it. There were a lot of stereotypes and unknowns about the Marines. So she thought I was going to be a grunt, a rifleman, period. And so she didn't want me to go to war. So a lot of the stereotypes that you hear about Marines and military service. But my recruiter did a really great job of sitting down with the family. I did a really great job of coaching them through the process. And then from there, we had agreed on this is what I was going to do, and they respected my decision, and they were supportive.
And are you the only child, or do you also have brothers?
So I have 2 siblings,
Okay.
2 younger siblings, 2 sisters.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. How did they take that as well?
Like my mom, they were shocked, to say the least,
Yeah.
but nonetheless very supportive of my decision.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah.
That's good because obviously like when it comes to that type of stuff, like I said, it could go both ways.
Absolutely.
And also with the stereotypes. Now speaking on the stereotypes, what can you say now, especially like to the people like how you view the Marines and how it has that negative connotation when it comes to like not even the Marines but joining just the military forces?
Yeah, absolutely. I definitely think just going in and speaking with a recruiter to ask the questions or define what it is to serve, to curb any stereotype that may be out there.
Mm-hmm.
So would definitely be the first step, I would say.
Okay. And now when it comes to the Marines, did you only specifically, why did you want to specifically go into the Marines? Why not like Army or maybe like Air Force?
So my recruiter, I know we're speaking a lot about my recruiter in the past.
He sounds
right now,
very of a hot topic right now.
If you're out there watching, hey, thank you. He was very influential in recruiting me. He showed me what my life could be, but he also showed me that he cared. And first and foremost, to me, that was what was most important.
So it wasn't like a job.
It wasn't
Okay.
Yeah.
And also you said like if you want to elaborate more, like knowing your why, not just looking as a job, because you said that was very beneficial for you.
Yeah, absolutely. So my why was also a driving force, right? So wanted to go to school, wanted to serve the country, and my recruiter just being a really great individual, just genuinely caring for me was a very great determining factor in me enlisting, for sure.
And now meeting people when you joined the Marines, do you feel like everyone kind of had like that same type of drive for why they wanted to be there, or did you meet a lot of people like coming from different paths and like pathways of their life?
Yeah. So in Parris Island in South Carolina, excuse me, you have people from all over the country coming in from east of the Mississippi, would go to South Carolina, Parris Island, and then everybody from west of the Mississippi will go to San Diego. But it's like a melting pot, you have a blend of people coming in, but everyone comes in for a different reason. But at the end of the day, what they really want to do is serve the country.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you said you're originally from Massachusetts?
Yeah, I got enlisted out of Massachusetts.
Okay.
I first came to Massachusetts when I was 16 years old. I grew up in the Turks and Caicos Islands, but I was born in Haiti. So I have a different background than most people, I would say, as far as like my origins go.
Okay.
Yeah.
And how did that feel now, also making that transition to now serving in a whole nother country?
America has given a lot to me and my family, a lot of opportunities I think I didn't really have in the islands. And so I'm 100% grateful for the opportunities that I've been given and taken advantage of. And so I'm more than proud to serve this country.
Okay. And then also, before we segue, now you being from Massachusetts, but like now moving to South Carolina, how is that as well too? Because obviously you're just coming from another country. Now you're in the country, but now you got to move to a whole nother state.
Well, moving has always been, part of my life, so it wasn't that much of an adjustment for me.
Okay, so
I embraced
used to it. Yeah,
I embraced it, and I loved every second of it. I do pride myself of traveling, and I do at one point in my life would be proud to say like I've traveled all 50 states.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you also like traveling, like not with just the Marines, but just in general, like kind of seeing all the new places, exploring the country, or just even the world?
Yeah, absolutely. I love traveling. I have plans and ambitions of traveling the world someday. So just trying to make that happen for myself.
Okay. So one of my big reasons for why also like when we got in touch, like I wanted you to come in was also kind of like, like shine the light for the youth, whether it's high school, coming out of high school, or just in general, like maybe if they don't know what they want to do, or like you said, like just want, like, this was your passion, this was your why into getting either the Marines or whatever military force it may be. Why do you feel like it could be beneficial for the youth?
Yeah, absolutely. So we have a lot of opportunities that they can take advantage of, right? Opportunities that they may not even be aware of. And so my job as a recruiter in the area is to shine light on those opportunities for these young men and women that may not have a really clear path, a clear direction of what they want to do in life. And even if they do know what they want to do in life moving forward after high school, we still have a lot of opportunities that they could take advantage of in conjunction with their plans.
And you said no judgment. It doesn't matter if you do or don't. We look at everyone the same.
None at all. Absolutely none.
Okay. Yeah. And also when it comes to that now, how do you feel like when it comes to like being in high school, like, and then again, like maybe like either graduating, whatever, do you feel like this also like will benefit you when it comes to like going into college as well and still being in the Marines or in any other military force? Or do you think that it's more of just a like don't look at it as a side job, more of it as a passion?
So you can definitely go to college and serve at the same time. We do have the reserves component where they serve 1 week in a month, 2 weeks in the summer, so they can continue to go to school, earn their degree and also serve their country at the same time. I hope that answered your question.
Yeah, because I would see a lot of my friends too in school as well. Like you said, like sometimes they do have to spend a week, but they're still in school as well. I just was wondering because like you said, like this was more of your passion specifically, just wanting to be straightforward in the Marines. Some of my friends, it's more of a like to help pay for college. That's why I was wondering, like, is it do you think it should be like looked at that way, or it doesn't really matter? It's like whatever your situation brings you.
I think everybody's why is different.
Okay.
And it shouldn't matter what the person's why is, because at the end of the day, they still are putting their life on the line and wanting to serve this great country of ours. So at the end of the day, their why doesn't really matter.
Okay. And you also said there were some benefits into joining the Marines. Obviously, you don't have to go into all details, but just naming off like a few benefits, especially for I want to say like like because I know for the most part like kind of like people getting out of high school, like what would be the benefits for them?
So one of the benefits I've used recently as well that I think is underutilized, even in the Marine Corps, those military members that are here now, is the VA loan. So the VA loan is zero down mortgage where you can use to purchase a home. I've used that twice now in the last 2 years. In my first duty station, I bought a townhouse in North Carolina, and moving back home to Massachusetts, I was able to use that same loan program again to buy another home here. That's one of the many opportunities that they can take advantage of, especially in this economy. Having to have 3.5% down in Massachusetts for a home is can get pretty costly.
Yeah.
So that's one of the great benefits. We talked about the GI Bill, which will allow students to pay for school. For all 4 years of college covered. Okay. And that's just two of many great opportunities and benefits that they can have through service.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you feel like was that also kind of like another like add-on to why it was like such a good jump for you to be like, okay, like I want to do this?
Yeah, absolutely. The benefits definitely screamed out to me when my recruiter spoke to me. The first time around. So yeah,
okay. For sure. And how long, I don't know if you said earlier, how long have you been in the Marines?
So I've been in for about 4.5 years now.
4.5 years? I
enlisted in November 2020.
Okay.
So November 2025 would be my 5 year.
Okay. And so now when you join the Marines, this is also like a question I had personally.
Yeah.
When you join the Marines, like, do you also like, say if you join, you're there for like I said, like a good 2-3 weeks and you're like, I don't know if I want to like still do this. Is there at any point you could still leave, or is it like once you sign up, there is a certain period of time that you have to stay for?
So when you commit to serving, there's no turning back for sure, right? Okay. You do your time, whether it's 4 years active or 4 years in the reserves and then 4 years inactive. So the total length of time for the contract is about 8 years.
Okay.
but once you commit, it's definitely no turning back.
So definitely, like what you're saying is like it's definitely like honing to like knowing that this is what you want to do, especially what you want to do with your career. Because obviously, like you said, knowing your why. Because once you sign off, there's no turning back.
No turning back at all.
That's okay, right. And not in a bad way, but it's like you obviously you agreed to something, so you have to
Absolutely.
But I would say also, so is this something that you still want to do moving forward, or do you have other paths and avenues as well for now being a Marines recruiter and helping out some of the youth? Like, what is some things that like you focus specifically on, like to get that outreach?
So for me personally, I always look at it as like just one contract at a time. My life today may not be the same tomorrow.
Okay.
So I just look at it as, okay, once these next 4 years are up, then I can decide whether or not this is something that I still want to do, or if I want to, pursue other things in life. So even now, as a Marine recruiter, I still do, have the ability to do different things outside of work. I'm also a real estate agent. I'm, a son, a brother, and a good friend as well to many in the area. So, I do have a life outside of, just being a Marine as well.
I think that's also good to mention, like, because like I said, again, like obviously, like we all know those bad stereotypes when it comes to like the military forces, but as you just said, like still into real estate, still with your passion that you want to do. I know you mentioned earlier that you're still thinking about going back to school, and at the same time too, it's like you still have a life outside of the Marines. It's not like it's full force like you're in it. So I think that's also something good to mention too. So people don't get scared, like, oh my God, like I'm never gonna be able to do what I want. Like there's still stuff for you to do, and they still obviously, like you said, they have that leeway where it's like you can still be here and go to school or still pursue your passion.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It doesn't just stop at, you're a Marine and that's it, period. No, you do have a lot of opportunities to pursue other passions in life, and 100%.
Now looking back at it now, to make a full circle, do you think now looking back when it comes to your parents and your family, they're looking like, okay, this was good for you? Yeah,
absolutely. They will consider themselves proud parents of a Marine now. They have all the memorabilia, you proud parent of a U.S. Marine, or like the plaques, proud U.S. Marine dad. They definitely embrace this decision I've made, and that they've 100% looking back, they would allow me to do this all over again.
And I feel like that was good, especially for you, because like I said, like taking that step, like knowing what you want to do, because obviously like growing up, because I got West Indian parents too, they're so prominent on like, no, like you got to do this. But I feel like sometimes it's like when you get to that age, it's like you got to make that decision on your own. Obviously, you did the same, and there you are now. So that's why I feel like it's like sometimes it's just more of like you said, knowing your why. And just because obviously like you didn't go to college to start, you still knew like, okay, maybe this could be another avenue. And like you said, like you're still going to try to go back to school as well. So
100%.
Is there anything else maybe that you want to mention when it comes to here stationed in Framingham, like any other things, benefits, or for people to get in contact with you guys?
One thing I would say, is don't just shut down the opportunity to just speak with a local recruiter as they approach you or want to have a conversation. You never know what your life might be like tomorrow, and just knowing that you are eligible for service could be tremendous for your future development.
And also, how do we get in contact with you guys again?
Yeah, so we're located right here in Framingham at 328 Worcester Road, off of Route 9. And I can be reached by cell phone. Can I get my cell phone out? 1-800 Marines. Yeah, 1-800 Marines.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I just want to thank you again, Sergeant Donis. It was definitely a pleasure.
It's a pleasure meeting you.
And I'm glad, just like I said, just coming in today, talking about what you do, and just shining that light when it comes to the youth and like getting involved in either the Marines, whatever type of military force it is. So
absolutely. Thank you, Brendan. Thank you for having me.